so difficult to click on stuff with the headset on. There we go. Oh, there's no one playing. Amazing. Home menu. How do I... There's something weird going on. Like, there doesn't seem to be any... Current car. Your current cars. Yes, I would like to drive that one. Set as primary. Oh, wait. City 2, I think it is. I just realised the issue. For some reason, my keyboard, it doesn't work. Like, it lights up, but I have to turn it off and on for it to do anything, and I don't know why. Oh man, I really wish there was a way to show only vehicles I owned in this interface. What did I buy? I bought the CX something or other. CX wagon. In glorious colours. Oh! So it's a completely new level. So, I have no idea anything is. Notice, drive on the right side here. Oh, okay. That's the wrong side. Yeah, with what you mentioned earlier about doing Dyson Sphere program, I'm totally up for it, but I don't know whether or not there's any point in carrying on, or whether or not we should not quite abandon what we've got, but head off to completely new star systems and try and tech up bigger, or start again with, because obviously I can configure the Galaxy when you start up. There's an awful lot of options. So,
and for gameplay, I would probably start a new one. And some of the people were joining like midway, and they could enjoy the cars, but they have like more idea what's going on.
True. I mean, obviously they could always just go to a new planet, but like, you know, we could, for instance, start it by all starting on a new planet or something. I don't know. I didn't have any sort of specific thoughts. I'm mostly distracted from the fact that I've just put a cushion on this, and now it's very tight because I'm an inch higher. So I guess it's the same thing. I don't really know. All I know is it's a different level with different speed limits, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable. This must be a very easy place, relatively speaking, to build up that mileage. My car's warming up.
But you can't go slow on the Autobahn.
Well, it's giving me a maximum speed of 160, which I think is going to be somewhat higher than the car will do, whether or not that's kilometres or miles. But my car's faster than yours, it seems. This is getting sketchy now. Let's move aside for slower traffic. This is all going to go very wrong for me. Oh, no, we're good. I haven't seen any missions yet, by the way.
Yeah.
And for some reason, my chair is moving, but not moving a lot. Oh, then there's a chicane to make you slow down. Ooh, oh, it's not joking. Could you? Oh, could you give me a slight push back onto my wheels from the other side?
That is going to be slightly difficult because you are fenced in.
Oh, okay, never mind then. If I just go to pits, I don't get fined or anything, do I, for going to the pits? Oh, warning, you have left the track outside a safe zone, you'll be fined €500 next time. Alright, okay. Fine. Oh, God. It's a bit weird converting a racetrack into this, but there we go. Arena, enter office. Oh, now what's my capacity? I've forgotten. 400, I'm not doing 3 trips. That's a taxi man. What's this then? Just a car park? Oh! So note to self, when you see chicanes... Gone.
Yeah, it would really be interesting if there were police around. None of us could graduate that.
Well,
Yeah, a lot of dynamics.
I plan to, but I still have to do quite a lot of miles. Now you'll get an awful lot more miles on this track. Even more so if I tweak my vehicle for top speed rather than acceleration. Not this one, the other one. I was going to say, there doesn't do much G-forces, because it's a banked corner. Obviously, it banks you in at the same rate that you are being forced outwards by G-force. You're obviously tilting inwards. That's how bank corners work. So it's a bit boring going around the bank corners at high speed. In reality, I should be being pushed downwards, but obviously my motion rig can't do that. Well, it can, but not for very long. I don't see many jobs so far. There's an awful lot of taxi places. I assume as a policeman you get given a whole bunch of money for just patrolling, like you need an equivalent money for patrolling as you would for delivering jobs.
I guess there's something. I know that you can find other people. I don't know whether that is as well.
just drive around and just say you're fine and you're fine. Autobahn resting. Here we go. 280 kilograms of diesel. Yeah, I'll pop that in the back. Okay, where am I delivering that to? Oops, I have to load first. We'll be delivering it to Autobahn. Oh, from Autobahn South. I did message Ismir, but I didn't get an answer. I don't know if we can use this particular game mode for S1 owners. It's possible, or demo owners. Underpass. 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 Something or other, underpass.
I feel that in the Dyson Sphere program you have to also be in Andorra World.
I have.
That's like the wrong way of playing it, so that way I treated that as a warm-up thing, but it seems that mistake is there that, oh, this is all the game now.
Well, I mean, I've been on Dora mostly because someone needed to organise the research bit. And it's not as if I've been twiddling my thumbs. I've still been flat out keeping stuff organised there. This is the world's narrowest roundabout. Okay, it's this way, 600 metres. Ugh, a funny feeling it's on that outer loop. Maybe. 350, 320, 200, 250, 240. Oh my god, this is a very long route to achieve this. But you can also change a whole bunch of... So I say you can also change a whole bunch of settings in Dyson Sphere program. There's an awful lot you can twiddle with.
I think in order to make multi-planet things necessary, you need to down the resource availability.
Yeah, the problem with that is... Let me rephrase what you just said. You just have to keep setting up new bases because the old ones run dry. Brilliant. To be fair though, I don't think we even drained any of our current planets dry. Like, even if we did, like, the collecting of resources is easy. If we drained hot singles dry, it's not very hard for us to then just grab a new planet and send the raw ore to the previously processing planet. Like, it doesn't really slow you down very much. It's just a bit of a repetitive ball ache. Because also you've still got the manufacturing capabilities. There's an awful lot of track outside the track. I'm at Highway 1 now. There's some absolutely lethal central bear. Oh. Yeah. Why would you do such a thing? I'm at Highway 1 still. I have been making good progress on all the networking stuff though. I've now got objects that you can pass between players and lots and lots of network sync stuff, so I'm pleased with that. Still very curious how I'm going to hook it into the Fortresscraft networking paradigm, but so far I've been really pleased with the new networking system for Fortresscraft Phoenix. Or for this game, for Mirror.
Fortresscraft do something fancy?
No, Fortresscraft doesn't do anything fancy. That's the problem, is that Mirror only seems to offer fancy things, and Mirror doesn't. Mirror goes, no, do it properly rather than do it as you would in the olden days. Where am I supposed to be going? Oh, I have to go all the way around then down.
Hello, hello.
Evening. Right, note to self, underpass is a terrible place to be, to get to.
So I'm watching the stream at the moment, trying to get an idea whether I actually want to join or not.
Alright.
Well, I can't see what you're actually doing. Are you
I'm
going on the... Or is it just random track, or what?
No, I'm delivering... this is a role-playing server, so they're all modded versions of the base Live for Speed tracks, but you have to do deliveries and earn money and get upgrades, and then you can become like a tow guy or a policeman or an EMT or a taxi. Not that we've done any of that. We've just basically been delivering stuff because it's quite slow going.
Okay. So are you like restricted on speed and shit?
Well, no, you can just drive as fast as you like, just like you can in reality. What stops you going really quick in reality?
Vehicle.
Money incentives to take restrictions.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect. Yeah, I've taken a restriction for XP, but that doesn't stop me driving as fast as I want. Just means it takes a lot longer to get there. Are you underpass? You are. Please have 30 kilograms of diesel, which I've put in the back of my Honda CRX. I think it's a CRX I'm driving. Oh god, it's still unloading. Chop chop. Sorry, 300 kilos of diesel. Definitely not legal to put in the back of a Honda station wagon. Right.
No, it'll be fine. You've got a few wet bags, haven't you?
Here we go. What is my capability? Car capacity. Oh, I can take 360 kilos of kerosene, or I can take 280 kilos of Lindt chocolates. I think it's going to be the Lindt. Then I had to head to Safe Zone Highway 1, which I assume is back the way I came. Oh. I hope I'm not putting the chocolates into the same place I just had the diesel.
How do you get the electric XF again?
Go to mods. So if you've bought the XFG, the electric XFG is an allowable straight swap.
was I had?
So you have to go. It's under mods somewhere. Maybe just search for it.
Or do you have to restart? Do I have to restart again? Or should I have my previous?
No, you should have your previous stuff. But if you've got the XFG, you also have the electric. It's a variant on it.
So, if we join, are we going to be on the same track as you, or?
Yep.
Okay, so we'd actually be able to crash into you still.
Yeah, but fuck off. I will just report you if you do that. Well, yeah, see...
No, it was only joking.
Well, the thing is, that's not fun in the slightest, because our goal here is to deliver a cargo. So smashing into things just means you'll get fined.
Is a thing in the game?
Is what in the game?
Like fines?
Yes.
Is that a thing on the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You also have to pass tests in order to get quite a lot of the interesting licenses.
Okay.
Did you find your electric car, Henry?
No. It's strange.
After this mission, I can check. Currently heading to
Yeah, you need to behave yourself, mate.
pit lane 1. But you also get money just for driving around, so it's not as much as for doing quests. Oh, I keep trying to indicate, because obviously we're not racing now, we're driving normally, and I keep trying to, like, flail at the indicators, but of course there aren't any.
I did fine.
I did too, but I don't think you understand. Because I'm on a steering wheel, I keep reaching for real indicators. Because the pure reflex that kicks off saying, I would indicate here. As soon as I unloaded this 300 kilograms of Lindt chocolates, I will check, Henry, what to click on.
Why is my... I think I'm constantly accelerating.
If you've got your foot pressed on the right pedal.
No. I go to, well, switch mouse and keyboard it stops, but I don't know.
So under the mods, I've got class all show approved ticked. And I can't find it. Where is it?
Not seeing my controllers.
Let me just search for all things with an X and an F in it. Oh, it's not the XFG then. Why isn't there a button marked electric? Damn it.
Well, they removed the electric stuff.
I'd be surprised if, well, possibly. But hold on, I can check. Oh, you're lagging. What? What? Massive message, you're lagging. Okay, so I've got the XFG has 4, no, it's not that one I need. So if I go to pits, car, it's the XFG, and then I click mods.
I was trying to do that as well, but...
Okay, I'm now including tweak mods as well. Aha! There you go. You have to have all and
mod,
all.
right.
Yeah, then it's the XFGT electric. But make sure you tweak the gear ratio, because otherwise it is way too slow accelerating and way too fast. Like you will just, you'll be just, you know, you want to go, you want to be accelerating a lot more. Maybe not quite so much in this level, I guess. Oh, hold on, didn't I add them all to my favourites? Yeah, I just added my favourites. That would have been much easier, wouldn't it, just to find? Add it to your favourites. don't know if it's possible, for example, just to full lock it and just leave something heavy on the accelerator, so I'm just doing circles to build up my distance travelled. I guess it probably is, but I guess the drawback is I'm not actually going very quickly doing that.
This is quite a big area. Please put it over.
I don't think it's any bigger than the last level. Not massively. I mean, it might be twice as big, might be half as big. I mean,
I guess there were more junctions.
well, given how quiet it is, I'm just going to go the wrong way down this road.
Can't do that too much.
Or you can do as much as you like.
Although,
Only down pit lanes, nowhere else. Oh, I forgot I am not a taxi. Autobahn resting. 190 kilograms of Fanta. Oh, who's this coming past me? Wow, there's Mr. Chicken in a yellow car. I'm not sure I'm happy about the fact that when you get a vehicle that's 10 times as big, it also takes 10 times longer to load. That's not really very fun.
I will accept a job of 100 kilograms of video games.
It's a lot of video games.
Yeah, it's a lot of video games.
We actually, I mean, this was many years ago. We actually were a bit concerned on this during, I think it was after Burnout 4, because we raised the issue that we felt quite bad that, but obviously Burnout 4 was coming out, Burnout 3 was out, and it sold whatever it was, 3 million copies. But we worked out, that's like an entire football stadium's worth of games. Like, you know, by volume, and we were like, we were really pushing for digital downloads. This is long before digital downloads was a thing, you know, many years before it was a thing. That came about with Xbox Live Arcade. Because we were just like, we're only making stuff that people want for a brief period of time. You know, 2 months after the game comes out, it's old and busted. People want the new hotness. And, you know, we were concerned about the environmental impact of all the stuff that we were doing. Only took... When did Xbox Live Arcade come out? That was before I left Criterion, so it would have been 2005, I think. Ah, 280 kilos of mozzarella sticks. Oh my word, that is a lot of mozzarella sticks. They're very light. It's like, you know, 500 kilos of helium. Oh. I have a funny feeling I have 52 seconds left to complete this quest, and it's only half loaded. That's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
Didn't pay any attention to that stat. Unload at Arena. I don't know where that is. That's also not going to help. Yep, I have 30 seconds left. I don't know if I get penalised. I just don't get any money for it. I might just eat the mozzarella sticks if that happens. Oh, who was that? Whoops. Oh, right, no, that's the countdown until you get a free pit. So I've now got a free pit. So if you're out long enough and you screw up, it doesn't punish you. It's only if you screw up repeatedly. Gonna hazard a guess. I want to be heading left here, so gently smash through this barrier. Slightly drive the wrong way around the track. No, wrong way.
It does seem that Russian video gamers are also a little bit because cards don't like payments in rubles.
Yes, apparently Steam are actually... Lots of people just can't buy games on Steam in Russia at the minute because of that. Because, yeah, it's not a currency. It's a bit reliable. Because when you do a credit card payment, like, the company doesn't get the money immediately. They get that money essentially on good faith. So you are relying on getting all the money at the end of the month, you know, from Visa, whoever. But if you don't trust that company to still be there in a month, then obviously you wouldn't accept the money from them. I feel I should stop my engine when I park.
You have to, but then value would have set sound in the meantime.
Well, that's an interesting. So the value of the ruble has gone down, but obviously the theory is as the value goes down, everything also gets cheaper. Like, the idea is that it's all equal, so it shouldn't matter. But when you're talking about a company from a different country, it's a little bit different. Oh dear, excuse me. Yeah, unfortunately, we polished off all of the new content in Pressure Wash Simulator yesterday, so that's currently out unless we feel like redoing listen levels. So we do need to find some other things. Right, Mindustry's big patch is still a long way off, as far as I know. I haven't got any great suggestions. I don't have any games lined up. And I was very much enjoying Dungeon Defenders. We had the problem that because some levels require 4, 6 or 8 players, that we just never had the right number online, which is always awful. 100 kilos of plush teddies.
Hello.
Evening.
How's everyone doing?
I'm delivering plush teddies.
Plush teddies.
Yes. I don't know what the other type of teddies are. Like, you get plush ones and what? Not teddies. I have to say though, as a rule of thumb, teddy bears are doing a terrible job for preparing children for real bears.
Do you tend to call them plush teddies? I thought it's usually called plush toys or they're teddies.
Yeah, but it's a plush. A teddy is a plush teddy. Like, it has to be.
No, I'm saying no. It's a plush toy, not plush teddy.
Yeah, but if you were to, so there's two types of teddies: plush ones and shit ones.
Are there? That's the first I've heard of this. Okay.
Well, yeah, you could get one that's got all its plushness worn off. Is it still plush? No. It's a shit bear. We need the shit.
I don't feel like I ever hear plush used as an adjective, really.
Well, I'll give you another example. Plush toys, plush car interior, plush sofa. Oh god, the word plush has stopped meaning anything. It's happened already. It happened very quickly.
I mean, you could, but I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that except for teddies. Really.
Oh, damn it.
Where am I going? 700 meters to my right? 700 meters to my left. Oh, bugger. Alright, I have to go all the way up here and take a left. If GTA had a VR and motion platforms before, I'd happily just drive around that all day doing taxi quests.
Oh yeah. I mean, occasionally we do that even without the VR. So in VR would be even better.
Well, that's essentially what we're doing here, but with more sort of DirectX 7 levels of quality.
That's true.
150 kilograms of hoverboards.
Wait a moment.
Jetpack.
Well,
Wait a minute.
I mean, hoverboards are a real thing. They don't hover, but
Yeah, they don't hover. I'm
but they
very
do.
disappointed.
But they do exist.
I'm very disappointed by the fact that those are called hoverboards, because it means that actual hoverboards won't be called hoverboards. They'll be called something else.
Well, you're right, because hoverboard obviously isn't trademarked.
What the...
But there is definitely prior art on that, and Robert Zemeckis will go.
What even is hovering?
What is hovering?
Why you say they aren't hovering?
Because they touch the ground. They just sit on the
It's,
ground.
Shalcross, what you do when you just take a shit but you don't want splashback.
What are hoverboards? I thought about the magnetic versions.
No, because they
so the hoverboards
because they don't
do
exist.
Yeah, not by definition.
Marathons do exist.
There was a hoverboard built, I think, for Tony Hawk, where they had a magnetic skate park of about 25 square meters just to show off that. But that's not what anyone calls a hoverboard.
Yeah. Sadly, it's a little wheelie thing that's like a Segway without the handle.
Ah. Those things.
Yes, which quite
Which I
importantly
think-
don't hover.
Which I think were also called Swagways.
Really, Swagway would have been better.
True. Well, I think that was the implication, but I think they wanted to keep the Eggway part because it's Segway. I guess. I don't know.
But how do they spell it? Do you know how to spell Segway?
Yes, Segway.
How do you know how to spell the word Segway? It's a word.
No, not?
No, that's
Oh
how,
yeah, right.
that's the brand.
Okay, yeah, the word.
Wait, it just says.
That's.
So my mess.
Segue.
It is Sigu, but it just says on my screen. It just says, "Please come back in a bus." You're right.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that one. So I'm like, it sounds wrong.
It does
But
wrong.
but-
It looks wrong and it sounds wrong. It's one of the.
English words.
It's it's like canapes or entree or croissant. It's French. Oh man, this is a lot of spent nuclear fuel rods. Yeah, not on the back of my Civic. I think this game would have done better, this mod, if they had done it so your cargo capacity was in cubic meters, but the weight varied. So delivering 100 cubic meters of feathers was very different to delivering 100 cubic meters of fuel rods. I think it would have been really cool to have incredibly heavy things in the back of your car. As it is, everything is the same. I think that's actually a real shame, not using a feature that's just completely open to you from the engine. You alright there, Henry?
Adam, here's a topic for you. Do
Uh-huh.
you think nukes are a good or bad thing?
Um,
Depends what you want to do with them.
they're not.
Because
They're not-
I don't mean like in terms of how they're used, but yes, like, do you think the deterrent is worth the risk? Because technically speaking, the existence of those probably stopped quite a lot of wars.
Well-
but then also there's the current situation.
Yeah, these days, not really. I mean, we could wipe each other off the face of the earth with non-nuclear weaponry quite easy. Like, weaponry's got very, very good. But as I said, so's anti-missile weaponry's got very good too. So, yeah. Well, it's pretty good. Oh, 370 kilos of vodka. As far as I know, anti-missile weaponry has progressed at a much faster rate than missile weaponry. Right.
I
Look,
guess you haven't
well,
surpassed yet.
Well, I think the big question on everyone's minds is what classifies stuff as it exists that we don't know about. I guess because like I think there's a theory that like either Russia or some other countries have hypersonic missiles which current tracking or current unclassified defense systems can't currently stop.
I mean, if you'd asked me this 2 weeks ago, I'd agree. But right now, Russia is invading with a whole bunch of vehicles where the tires keep bursting because they've not been looking after them. Like,
Yeah, I agree, but
so-
I guess not just Russia though. That technology in theory
Yeah.
exists, but we don't know. But it's possible there's classified stuff that can stop it, but they don't release that publicly because it's
Yeah.
you know important.
Well, unfortunately, there is no greater motivator for technology than, well, more money. I mean, same thing with COVID. I mean, we did some amazing things during COVID, mostly because they just went, well, how much money do you need? We'll just keep giving you money until you solve the problem. And we solved the problem. And same thing with war. That's just, well, this is,
We solved the problem. We didn't solve the idiots.
well, yeah, but that's okay. They can die of COVID.
It's not going down to them, just them. So it's just a
It's pretty much, though. It's something insane like 40 to 1. 40 times less likely to die if you're vaccinated. It's an enormous difference. Thankfully.
Those people that don't get vaccinated are not just endangering themselves.
Yes, but if you are vaccinated, you don't have to worry too much about coming into contact with it.
People that are idiots.
Yeah, not you do a bit, but not that much. I mean, to be quite frank, I mean, these days we do have cures for most things, so you don't need to worry as much. I mean, like last time I nobbed off with Brett's mum, I didn't even wear a condom. I mean, that's how good antibiotics are these days.
How many years ago was that then?
I don't know, what day is it? Always practice safe sex, kids. That was the joke. Please don't.
Oh, this reminds me. I saw a clip on Reddit the other day of someone like testing to show how ridiculously durable condoms are. They like cut through it with a meat cleaver, and the thing inside was destroyed, but the condoms worked fine. So what?
Sorry. What they were testing? What?
They were testing how durable condoms were. and they took,
Durable, right? Okay, because I missed that bit, and I was like, they were testing how the condoms were, and then they hit the condom with the meat cleaver, and the thing inside was fine. I was like,
No,
sorry.
No.
The condom was fine. The thing inside
No,
was.
so I think they used the carrot. They sealed it inside the condom, and they cut it through with like a saw and like a meat cleaver, and the carrot was fucked, but the condom was fine.
I'm fairly sure if you use a saw and a condom, it will break. It would just
No, it might have been not their saw, it might have been something else then.
But a saw, you
I
see,
don't know.
it would tear.
Oh no, it was a bear trap. They used a bear trap for this experiment. I'm not joking.
Right.
I'll find the post. Hold on.
What was the one I saw? Oh yeah, if you boil a condom, it gets even stretchier, and there's one where they stretched it over a mini.
Wow.
Wow, that's impressive.
Oh. Slowly. Hey Henry, you in VR?
No.
Oh, here we are. I
so
found it.
I found that there's a lot of what I would consider to be incredibly tight gaps and spaces in this mode, but I don't have any problem
Yep.
at all in VR. Like in VR, no problems. I haven't hit anything. It's just like driving a real car around.
Mm-hmm.
Which way is the swimming pool?
And my real question for that video that I just posted is whether or not there's holes in it, because you can't see them in the video. But
Well, he needs to be scientifically, you know.
well, they're tapping it with a bear trap that doesn't have spikes, so I guess there probably wouldn't be holes. But
Yes, I mean you could just squish a condom. That's right, but obviously if you attack it with a scalpel,
yeah,
I mean I don't know why you would do this. Why were they checking? What are they planning on doing? Are they worried
I don't
about
know.
bears?
yes, they were designing condoms for bears.
No, obviously for bear traps, not for actual bears. Where's the swimming pool?
What about your clickbait title, Adam?
I thought it's, well, I haven't seen if it worked last night yet. Well, oh! I've just damaged 15 kilos worth of bread.
Man, you should change it to like man delivers pizza to hot woman sink.
Oh, I like that. Or unrealistic expectations of pizza delivery times. Oh, I may have done myself a minor damage. Now, who wants bread? It says deliver to the swimming pool, and I'm confused. Where is it? 60 meters. Wait, that's supposed to be a swimming pool. Oh no, I take it back. There is a swim. Well, there isn't. There's a big. I don't know what it is. I'm going to say fuel by turning off the engine, but I think fuel is actually free in this game, rather weirdly.
In the real world, it's not.
This is correct. Well, depends where you charge your car. Oh man, not a single quest I can do. The problem is that the multiple stage quests do not give you an equivalent amount more cash, so I don't think they're very good to do. But you have to do twice as many trips, but you don't get twice as much money.
Yeah. If you've got a bigger car, you can do it in one trip. So.
Yeah, but unfortunately the bigger cars tend to go slower, so I don't think your cash per hour... I think this game is geared towards, unfortunately, very small fast cars doing small missions. But obviously you are limited in what missions you can pick if you do that.
I think this is geared towards role players. The actual math is probably quite off.
Well, if I had to drive... So bear in mind, I haven't done a lot more than 2,500 in my actual car, let alone in this. And this is quite a lot of miles it's asked me to do before I can become a taxi. Looking for a job. But you get like just bonus cash every 20 minutes based on how far you've driven. Like the opposite of reality.
Unless you're an Uber driver.
True. I can't get my taxi license yet because I've not driven enough. 190 kilograms of tarts. It's just like half a Brett's mum.
Ouch.
Get it? That's a good point. Actually, Brett, I'll ask you because I'll be doing it on Monday. So I just imported into my HDRP game the Fortress Craft Avatar, the old spaceshipy bloke. And I was trying to work out, like, how would I override the animation? So I'd like to do inverse kinematics that overrides bits of the animation, but I've no idea how. So as you look up and down, his waist bends, and then I'd like to actually take his hand and override what his hand is doing with IK for VR.
Right.
But I've actually no idea how to...
I've not actually messed with inverse kinematics. I've been wanting to.
Well, the IK bit's probably not that hard. It's the same stuff. I mean, the thing is, the animations will set, the hip bone or whatever. But I need to bugger about with it afterwards, saying, the character is bent over a bit, therefore bend over. Inverse kinematics is quite simple. I got fined for driving the wrong way. Yeah, so I mean that's kind of the next thing to do is a better integration of network players. Like, they have to animate appropriately, hold the right weapon, look in the appropriate direction, and...
have you got networking, like, watching that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't stream today. I was just ploughing on. Now, networking's working fantastically. I've got network physics objects, switches, buttons, spawners, players, the works.
Very cool.
But then I was like, I'd like to be able to transmit a pair of relative vector 3s that just specify the endpoint of the hands as gleaned from the motion controllers, and then just inverse kinematic the hands there. You know, it's probably not that hard. But I was just wondering if you'd ever actually sort of fiddle with that stuff.
I have not. Well, when I did VR before, I used some of the just like default Oculus plugin things to do some of the hand stuff last time I did.
Yeah, but did you actually have a 3D character with hands? Like, inverse, if you don't want to have an animated character, IK is easy. Unity has everything you need to, quote-unquote, just do it. What you don't have is, I don't know how you override parts of an animation. I mean, it will look ridiculous, because as the character runs along, his legs will run, but his arms will also do whatever the VR player's arms are doing. So if you put your hands in the air and then hit forwards, he'll run on with his hands in the air.
Yeah, the Oculus kit I used only had the hands, it didn't have any body or arms or anything.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's very easy. So I think that's one of the very important things in VR is presence of other players.
Yeah.
Because even in VR Dynageo, which is just a disembodied head and disembodied hands, you know, sort of Rayman style, it looks really, really good. Because it's being driven absolutely realistically by real people.
That reminds me, I'm meaning to try VR chat again, just to see how chaotic it is. It's been a while since I've been on those, and it's just...
Yeah, I'm not a weeb, so I haven't.
I mean, it has to be a weeb play that. It's just a social hub.
Yeah, okay, weeb.
It's just occasionally ruined by some 12-year-old running past and screaming the N-word. But that's the case with most multiplayer games of mine at sadly.
So, just to be clear, when you say the N-word, you mean Naruto?
No, I mean Northerners.
Oh, fair enough. We don't use that word. We just call it the people. Oh, I've got my indicator.
What the gap, isn't it?
How's your current contracting job going?
It's simple. I used to do more side project stuff because it's not, I don't know, that engaging. It's better than nothing, but.
Well, if you want to have a look at the animation for me, I mean, that would be really, really
ideal.
The
animation thing, okay.
Because you said you wanted to, you'd be like, Well, I've just never had to do it. It's just I have a funny feeling I can just mess with the bones, but there must already be a way to say, animate this character according to this animation, except this bit, and this bit follows IK.
Yeah. So I think that what games have or at least VR games have full-on arms.
Lift for
that
speed.
might do that well.
No Man's Sky. Oh, no, forget doing it well. It's going to look ridiculous because VR only tracks your wrists.
Yeah. It tries to roughly track the arms. Can't you
Yeah, well, that's what IK. So the IK part itself is very easy. So IK is not much more than set the joints up and let Unity deal with it. It's very straightforward. So then you just say the shoulder is an immovable point in space. And the I want to go the other way. So the shoulder is an immovable point in space, and the hand is here. And you have to work out, given the constraints of the wrist and elbow and shoulder joints, where the intervening joints can go. And unfortunately, there are a number of solutions. So you could put your wrist and shoulder into a fixed position, and there are many positions your elbow could be in to fit that. But it will just pick one, and it will try and pick ones that are sensible. But you don't have to do any of the complicated IK maths. That's already inbuilt to Unity. The bit I don't know about is the arguing with the animation system. Because obviously the animation system wants to put the hands somewhere, and you want to go, no. And you might even want to do it so after a couple of seconds of the VR player not doing anything very interesting, it just bleeds back into the not animating part.
Sounds that could get really complex really quick.
Which part, sorry?
If you have you have both animation and inverse kinematics, and you are not fully like if you have individual clones following one or the other, then that's kind of manageable. I could imagine that would be a standard option available. If you want to blend animation and reverse kinematics, then that would get tricky.
Well, I have done something similar before, and it's called puppeteering. So what you do is you have an animation playing, and then you can just turn on ragdolls. You turn off the animation, you turn on ragdoll. But what you can do is you can work out where the animations should have been, and then blend from the ragdoll to the animation. So it means if someone's laying down, they'll kind of, it looks a little bit odd, but it's, you know, you can tune it. So someone's laying down because ragdoll, and then you play the stand-up animation, and it, you know, it will morph between them. And it usually looks pretty good, because you're essentially turning gravity off as it pops back into the animation. However, it was hellishly expensive because I had to simulate the animated character and the ragdoll character at all points, and then from that work out what the blend was, and then put the actual one in the middle. And it was horrendously expensive. So you know you couldn't do it for many characters. But yeah, I will probably do a bit of reading on it. But if that does tickle your fancy for something to, because it's completely not autonomous. What's the word? Separate to the rest of the game. It's just one prefab, and then it's just introspecting a bunch of data which is already there. So you don't have to sort of integrate with anything. I'm going totally the wrong way. I'm such an idiot.
One complication is that the animation could affect what is the sensible inverse kinematic.
No, not really. Because you calculate the sensible inverse kinematic solution, and then you go to it, or you're blending partway between it and the animation. If you're playing a running animation and you're partially blending it with an AI player who's got his hands in the air, it's going to look very odd. But it's more of a transition, like it's a very rapid transition from the IK state to the animation state. But it should be quite good. I mean, I don't have the VR hookup yet, but it should be very cool. Because obviously I've done it in No Man's Sky, and it's very cool in that too. It's good when people gesture, you know, the point over there. Our character's not advanced enough to have fingers, though, I don't think. I think it's just got mittens on. I'll have to get Andy to... I'll have to get a pair of gloved hands, and then get Andy to remap them onto our textures. The other day I went onto Unity and there was a special offer. It goes click for special offers, and it was a really cool looking robot hand. I'm like, oh, I want that. And then I couldn't find it on the store. So it was their flagship thumbnail item, and I couldn't work out what item it was. Android hand, robot hand, I searched loads of things. But Brett, I think you're already added to the SVN. I will check after this. But
Yeah.
I don't think I've sent you the link. But if you've, I think you've been added. You can always grab it and have a look. See, if you look at the screenshot I sent, I've got to put the character in the one. So bear in mind, this isn't the Dungeon Defenders game. This is the other one. Both of which use the same networking and the same render engine, just different stuff. Like one's a third-person game, one's a VR game. 190 kilograms of spent nuclear fuel rods, or 820 kilograms of milk. That's a lot of milk.
How do I add the intake restriction?
Go to the pits, go to the top right, click on New Setup, give it a name, then go to Other or Info or Find or something like that, and there in the bottom right-ish is the intake restriction, and you get double XP.
Aha.
But yeah, so far within Mirror, hooking up new behaviours and things has been very simple. Because I've got a pretty good head for client-server architecture already. In, you know, I said the old-fashioned way where it was horrible. This is much easier. So I could just have a command. As long as I put a comment there going, comment, this is executed on the server, I'm fine so far. I may have made some mistakes. There may be issues where, under certain circumstances, you use a potion or a health bottle and the local server player gets it, but I haven't done any sort of extensive testing of stuff like that. It seemed to work, and then I stopped. But one cool thing I want to put in is a little vitals monitor, so that should be quite cool. So I should be able to have in your dropship like a little alien style vitals monitor with everyone's health and oxygen, so you can someone keep an eye on it and just going, Schalke, you're running really low on oxygen, and you'll be like, whoops. At least I think that's fun. I don't know if any other people do, but that's their problem, not mine.
That comes close to hunger mechanics.
No, because a hunger mechanic takes away regardless. So hunger is, I mean, I guess so in Icarus, I believe that if you do more sprinting and stuff, your hunger goes up quicker. But quite frankly, I couldn't tell. So in this one, you have a power mechanic, which drops when your light's on. You have an oxygen mechanic, which in theory drops all the time, but in practice only drops when you're in a smoky area. Which is, again, fine. It's not quite the same. Oh, could have just driven to a dead end. But yeah, I would say the difference is that a hunger style mechanic just goes all the time. Like, it's not as if, for example, in Icarus, doing stuff in a hot environment made your character thirstier. I mean, it might have, but there was no way I could really tell. But in this one, you know, we have a power mechanic, but it only goes down with your torches on. I might make it trickle down all the time, but only to a very minimal degree. So it's more to do with your behaviour. But part of the reason is to encourage a situation where I'm busy fighting a fire, like a couple of minutes run, teleport, from the dropship, so someone else is going to have to go and get... Oh, this is a pit stop. Someone else is going to go and have to bring fuel bottles or whatever. I think it'll be fun, but there's only one way to find out.
I think Icarus tried to have that kind of thing, but it was just misbalanced. I feel like that. Some of the bonuses were like that you would not use so much water in hot environments.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if Icarus does that, I can't tell. And they managed in this last patch to say, oh, we really care about balance, and if you grind for about 30 hours, you can earn a full respec. Oh, brilliant. I'm not on a job. I mean, I don't. In Valheim, I thought the hunger mechanic was awesome, because if you didn't eat, you could still do everything. You didn't just go and lost health. It just meant that when you did eat, you got a bigger stamina bar. It was, you know, carrot, not stick, which is obviously ideal for a hunger mechanic, thinking about it. But most games, I haven't enjoyed the hunger mechanic. I mean, the best example, you know, we'll take No Man's Sky. Is it more fun if your character just got hungry and you had to eat every so often? Like, you wouldn't be, oh, cool, eating. That's what I want in the games. You might, I don't.
Yes, it depends whether the goal is to get somewhere or do the activity.
Well, I would hope that in a situation where you're fighting a fire, having to manage your oxygen and heat is quite sensible things.
Floor power-wise at least. I don't know how to formulate that on what kind of resource management is fun and what kind of resource management is.
Well, in this case, if I have to run back and get oxygen, that means I'm not putting out fires. So my performance is directly related to how I can.
How is that psychologically different from being annoyed that I have to eat?
Well, because in Icarus, you were doing a massive long grind, and then it just went, oh yeah, you're gonna have to stop for a while, not do that, and go and cook food. Okay.
That's the same that you have to stop fighting fires for a little while and get oxygen.
Yeah, yes, but your difference is your performance is not based on how efficient you are with dealing with stuff. As I said, in Icarus, it was just a ball ache, and it is in most games. It's not just, yay, I get to cook food. The best you can say for it is when you get high-level food and you need to do it once every half an hour. It's less boring. But this, I mean, I wouldn't call this a hunger mechanic. These are more like managing your shield and engine and fuel in a vehicle-based game. I think the other difference is, of course, dealing with basic bodily functions is not very exciting in the game. Ooh, I must hydrate. It's not thrilling.
If you're a vampire and need blood, that would be the same kind of mechanics, but it would be exciting.
Well, the thing is, Shaka, how often do you eat? Should we just say, for sake of argument, every 8 hours? In Icarus, you have to do it about every 6 minutes. I think that's the problem. Like, I don't constantly think about food or where my next meal is coming from and how I'm going to do it and do I have to go and kill a deer. You know, it's too often you're having to worry about it. I understand what you're saying. I mean, to a degree, yes, what I am doing is basically just hunger mechanics dressed up differently. But I'm hoping I'm going to do it in such a way that feels more like Sonic the Hedgehog drowning rather than, oh, I need to go and skin a bison. That's this way, okay.
Got nearly half a ton of chocolate cake on me. Way.
Party in Henry's car! The only problem I am having is trying to do the internal and external temperatures without your internal temperature getting up to like 300 degrees, but you're fine. Because obviously it would not be fine if the inside of your suit was 300 degrees.
Well, the heat transference, you know, can get quite cold in a sauna.
Not 300 degrees though. No.
But it's not
No.
like, it's 100 around there, but it's very different from having boiling water on your skin.
Yeah, but it's not 300.
I wouldn't know why would it be that much.
Well, that would be superheated. That would definitely be bad. But yeah, I've just been. I was fiddling with that today. I've decided the solution is just not to display the numbers. So there's a bar and it gets red, and you don't really know what it is. Should all be live in the current patch. All of the heat, water, and power mechanics are in, and should just work. Not saying they're balanced or compelling, and water is definitely unbalanced. Like, you run out of water very quickly, and it's not very good. So I need to make it so either the water is way better, or you don't run out anywhere near as fast. But then I thought that's very easy scope for very basic progression. Is just to you get upgrades. Yeah, your oxygen tank is now twice as big. Your suit is twice as insulated. Your torch is twice as efficient. do feel if I had a faster car, though, I could be earning a lot more money. Oh, wow, Ken Block's playing with us. Amazing. $190 kilograms of asparagus. Oh, my word. Please stop telling me I'm already on a job. I'm really not.
I have trouble finding the saves.
The big thick areas on the map. There's 2 of them. Though if it says free pit at the top, you can just go straight to the pit. Also Barnes South. Oh man, both these routes are terrible. Let's go this way. So Microsoft are no longer accepting any new Azure clusters in Russia as well. What's the other one I saw? Another big sanction-y thing. Obviously Facebook and Twitter are gone. So it's not all bad. Haha. Oh, I only think this is
all of the reaction. All of the reactions to Facebook and Twitter is disappearing in Russia now.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people use this, people use it for business. People use it very seriously to keep in touch with their friends. But those are the people who are quite clued up on what's going on, I'm sure. But the thing is, so I said, a lot of, there has been a radical shift over the last week in Twitter and Facebook's content because and I wish I didn't sound like a fucking conspiracy theorist, but it's really not. All of the Russian disinformation farms are offline. And I really wish that I was being a conspiracy theorist, but like there's all these massive pro-Trump, anti-Biden people, anti-fat, all that stuff, and they've just all disappeared. Like literally, they've disappeared off the internet because they weren't real to begin with. Yeah, I'd like to. I'm hoping that some more could be done about that. Now that we've got definitive proof that they are real. A lot of them. But I do realise I sound like a conspiracy nutter. But I had one guy earlier. You know that plane that blew up, the biggest plane in the world.
Yeah.
He was denying it blown up. He said it was fake. I was like, what? No, it hasn't blown up. There's no proof of it. And I said, he goes, it'd be all over the internet if that really happened. So I said, well, here's a picture from Imgur from like 2 days ago, and here's a picture from Imgur from 4 minutes ago. Like whatever part of the internet you're on, it's just not one talking about it. But it's like that could be faked. I'm like, all right, but what makes you think it is faked then? Like, what's your counter argument? That plane's not been blown up.
Yeah.
Why would you say it was? Why not? Yeah, it's just weird. And
what could be done about it? That you would have to be real or have some vetting in order to get to the internets.
That, I mean, much as I hate to say it, yes, unfortunately. I mean, I had another guy, and he was they've got a plan. I think it's in California to cover the canals with solar panels. And the first comment, and you can spot all of the greentards type commentators, because one of them's like, oh, what about the wildlife? What won't affect the flow of the river? And I'm like, you don't know what a canal is, do you? You've no idea what a canal is. Flow? And then someone was like, actually, it's hotter underneath the solar panel. It's like, what? Because the Democrats are lying about this, and they make the scientists lie. And I've got the grab. It's quite spectacular because I was expecting him to eventually either give up or stop talking, but he just doubled down again and again and again. And I'm like, what are you talking about? How can it be hotter underneath a solar panel? But he was like, oh, the electricity makes it hotter. Like, what? But we can't. But that would be free energy if that was the case. But yeah, basically said there are some Democrat scientists, whatever that means, on YouTube, and they lied about it. And I was like, because all you have to do, it's very simple, guys. Go out in June or August, don't know why those 2 months, and get a 12-foot by 12-foot solar panel and just measure the temperature underneath it. It's like, it will be cooler, mate. I don't know why you think it will be warmer. And what, measure temperature of the air? Like, what is it you'd like me to measure the temperature of exactly? But the thing is, I can't prove him wrong, because he doesn't believe the, and I quote again, Democrat scientists, whatever that means. And obviously it's not August, so I'm like, well, it's dark here, so I don't really know how you would like me to to go and do this. And it's like, oh, it has to be a 12-foot by 12-foot solar panel as well. Like, that's a really big solar panel you're talking about.
It's also very oddly specific.
It is, isn't it? But it's just like I don't even know where to begin pointing out that you're an idiot. I think my final sign-off was, to you, the word scientific method is just a cool name for a band. But yeah, it's even without the disinformation bots. I mean, I assume they still are. I don't believe anyone... I can't understand why anyone would think the invasion of the Ukraine was or wasn't happening. That's not the point. But that specific thing, that plane hasn't been blown up. And it's just a lie. Like, but who would lie about this? Who benefits from lying about the plane being blown up? It's just another thing blown up. If he'd said, oh, the Ukrainians blew it up to make the Russians feel bad, I'm like, I would accept that as a potential, if slightly weirdly paranoid thing. Sure, it's a false flag operation, etc. But not, it hasn't been blown up. Yeah.
The one thing, interesting thing I read, someone quoted this to Mark Twain, whether it is or not, I'm not sure. I suspect it might be, it sounds like it could be. But it was something on the lines of, it's easier to pull the wool over someone's eyes than to convince them that the wool has been pulled over their eyes, or some words to that effect.
Yes, that makes sense.
So...
No, I mean, I've mentioned before, I revel in being wrong, because it means that I have improved and learned something as a person. It means I'm now more right than I was earlier. I don't just think I'm right, I am actually right. Whatever that thing...
Or closer to right.
Or closer to right, yeah. And I don't know why people are so... I mean, I said, like someone in my smart group who said, oh, I hear that electric cars will be getting almost 200 miles of range this year. I was like, well... Like what?
Okay.
Like, did you read that 10 years ago and you didn't think it had been updated? Because it's like, you can get, I think 550 is the biggest range vehicle out there at the minute. I mean, don't get me wrong, you'll pay through the nose for it, but, it does exist.
Oh, the talking about like random politics things. The thing that really irked me earlier today was seeing that announcement that like U.S. politician announces Putin should be killed, and everyone in response is just like, yes, no shit, you're just giving them a comment to like make like the West look bad over. Good job.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like deliberately shit.
I did see someone, so I've noticed this before in a couple of other instances. So someone responded with, "Get whatever aide wrote this to delete it." Because I'm like, that's spot on. And also, Joe Biden was tweeting about how good Ford was doing. And Elon Musk just said, could whoever wrote this tweet, because it's obviously not Joe Biden sitting on his fucking mobile phone at the bog, just let them know that actually we've got 20 times the workers, and we put out, like, Tesla make Ford look embarrassing. But it's the same thing. He's being very careful to not make anyone think he's having a go at Joe. Because he definitely doesn't write his own tweets. Like, it's kind of amazing Trump actually did, but to be quite frank.
I would argue it probably would have been better if it didn't, to be honest. But...
yes. But yeah, most celebrities do not run their own Twitter. Like, I mean, at the busier points of my career, I can't keep up with Twitter. Twitter becomes an almost full-time job just to keep up with the, the tweets go blur issue you get.
The only solution, I guess, is that if you're like a company or something rather than a person, you can sort of use those softwares that are like, I want to upload to every social media at once, and you just leave it.
Yeah, but Oh, there's ramps. Awesome. Yeah, but quite often you do want to respond to what people have said,
Yeah.
and that's where it becomes. Am I going the wrong way
A
down?
full-time job to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I became tired. I'm gonna head off.
Okie dokie. Well, what if we do? So, do we have a plan? So, I'm happy to moot. Oh, I've been told off again. I'm happy to moot restarting Dyson Sphere program, but yeah, with different settings. But we don't really have anything else, do we? Because I think we've kind of done Witcher as much as we can do. Like, we actually have to bring some newer games into the mix. We're just kind of we keep blazing through them. I mean, we could maybe replay the Raft. I did enjoy the Raft. It was really good fun. We just made
I'm good for that.
a mockery of it.
Didn't play the first time.
Oh yeah,
The program is more replayable, and I would be happy with that. But I also
Yeah.
understand if all people get
Well,
excited about
well, the thing is, right now, what have we got on the schedule that we haven't played? We've got Wreckfest and Live for Speed. Cool. There's 2 of the 5 gone. No problems. And then we finished Power of Shore Simulator. Viscera Clean still does have an awful lot. So probably another at least 10 streams of that. So that's good. And then I'm like, now what else we got? So that's at least 4 nights. We don't really have anything lined up. Because unfortunately we had the issue that although we're only playing 3 hours a night, we're quite often just blitzing the content, and we're not currently playing, an ARPG like Diablo 2 or anything, or Diablo 3. So, like, stuff with nearly infinite content. Because I mean, I didn't realise, but in Dyson Sphere program, it's not infinite content. I thought the infinite upgrades were infinite. It's about 80 upgrade levels. So we do need to find like another 4 or 5 games to do. And we should do some VR stuff because we just don't do enough. I don't.
I can't think of it. Didn't find it now. Just planning to find it.
Find what? Sorry.
What games we will play?
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I'm. In case anyone's like, oh, we should try. I mean, Sai wants us to try Pummel Party, and we did say, as I said, we would try more games briefly. Going, yeah, that was alright for an evening. Like, I think we played Witch It for 3 evenings, which is fine, perfectly enjoyable. Don't think I'll go back, not unless they add in a completely new game mode. I would like to play the new Golf expansion, the Labyrinth expansion, because that looks absolutely fantastic, and that's because I'm old. Tabletop Simulator I don't think it's been updated. I mean, we could also, I liked your suggestion of speedrunning, because we could even do it properly, because you can speedrun Doom. There are multiplayer Doom speedrun categories, definitely. I mean, if there aren't, you can start one.
Oh, I thought you meant the game called Speedrunners. I was like, what?
No, that's awful. I didn't know that from the big game. But yeah, I quite like the idea of doing the speedrun stuff, because then we've got a potentially a much shorter stream. I don't know what my record is for Doom. I want to say about 20 minutes for episode 1. Like, any percent, any difficulty.
We'll try and find something. Bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Good night.
Oh, unloading jewels. This is an interesting issue to have, is that we keep completing games too quickly. I can't wait for Riftbreaker to get multiplayer, because that has a mode where you can just say, I want to play for 1 hour, and here are the difficulty settings I want. And then the game ends in an hour. So you can actually set up, we can actually do 2 3/4 hour missions, and then try and get the best score within that time frame, which is just perfect.
I was going to say, to be fair, you're not exactly picking the games that are like known for their longevity. Oh yes, like Power Wash Simulator isn't that long of a game.
Play it single player and tell me that. It took me probably 30 hours to complete all of the single player content. The problem is we've done the multiplayer content in 1/6 of that time because there's been 6 of us. So it's pretty good. I mean, we've done quite a lot of Power Wash Simulator streams because it's really good. Like, it's really genuinely satisfying and wonderful to play, to the point where I've decided to basically, that's been quite a large inspiration for the Fire game.
Fire.
It's not going to be called that. I haven't got a good name for it yet. I quite like Firefighters.
Fire.
Fire. No, I'm not going to call it that. Ah, who was that by? Don't say the Prodigy.
No, not this one.
Oh, someone remind me to lubricate my gas struts as well.
Sorry?
Remind me to lubricate my gas struts. Now, left or right? I'm going to try... Oh, corner! I'm going to try right. But yeah, something like Diablo 3 has, you know, quite literally unlimited content. So that would work. But, unfortunately, I think a lot of the people on the gang have already played it to absolute death. Whoops. Main station snacks. Is that round to the right? I guess it must be. Yeah, I don't expect I'll be going late tonight, as I have got quite a lot of stuff on this weekend. But I will check, Brett, that you're added to the SVN and give you the link anyway. I mean, you could probably guess it because it's called HDRP _decal _multiplayer, I think, in my usual brilliant naming convention.
That's my favourite game name of all time.
Well, Sharon's asked me what we should call it. I'm like, that's what it's called internally. Like Fortresscraft Fortresscraft internally was called Digger World. I think No Man's was called 2.5D Logistics, because that's what it was at some point during the beginning of its development process. So obviously that doesn't change. But deep inside Fortresscraft, you've still got original Digger World code and Digger World namespace stuff. So I think this level is better with a faster car, just because there seems to be longer distances to do.
Yeah.
Although unfortunately, well, I have earned £2.5 grand, I suppose. But most of the licenses require enormous and ridiculous distances. Okay, once this is done, I'll go back to the pits. Let's bring up the phone. Licenses. So I could play as a tow that cost me €1,000 a year. And that requires a locator. And a locator is, hold on, buy items. What's the garage do? I currently own 3 garages. Oh, Awesome. Oh, am I limited to what vehicles I can have? The ANPR camera scans number plates of passing cars and informs the cop if the passing user has outstanding warrants. Car alarm. A car alarm detects all thieves and calls the police. Oh, right. So if you steal a car... Oh, and that's for stealing money from the car, isn't it? That makes sense.
You wouldn't download a car.
I would. Oh, good. My garages aren't damaged. That's good. Oh, you can rent bigger cars. I see. All of the good. Oh, I could rent a bus. Ah, interesting. That cost me €2 a kilometre. But I could rent a metro bus. Unfortunately, it won't let me click on it. Why not? I've no idea why it won't let me click on that. I can't do that one, I assume, because I haven't driven enough distance.
$100 of hydrochloric acid.
How to get onto a list. Oh man, I should have got the UF truck. 400 kilos of thingy, it's only €8,000.
Yeah.
Scooter, 900. I wonder what use that is. Metrobus is 50 grand. Description, the bus. Oh, all of the descriptions are twice. For some reason. RB5. Just, yeah, repeats the same thing twice. That appears to be a bug. Golf car, a must-have for every golfer. A must-have for every golfer. 954 in stock. Goliath, heavy and powerful, heavy and powerful. Oh, I couldn't buy a bus anyways. It wouldn't fit into my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've done 250 kilometers of driving in total. It's actually quite a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, unfortunately, I need 2,500, so that means I'd have to do this mode for 20 days in order to get
So, I just opened up YouTube and it's recommending me some COVID news from Sky News. I remember this channel in particular had like 20,000 people watching the stream at one point, and now it's like got 50 people watching. No one cares anymore. It's
Hashtag old news.
very true.
Oh man, the electric car drove so much better than that other thing. Oh, Mr. Chicken got a €73 bonus for driving 50 kilometers. I've got a warning light on my dash,
Wow.
but I'm not sure if it's traction control disabled or my handbrake's on. Neither of which
Yes.
are good, let's be honest. Oh, I've maxed out the speed of the car, 103. Not actually sure how fast it will go around these corners. Okay, and then there's a roundabout. So let me get this straight. I've got to do 2,500 kilometers, and this vehicle has a top speed of 160 kilometers an hour. So the best I could do it in is what, 17 hours, 18 hours, just by driving flat out for 18 hours straight. I mean, I guess if I had a but so I'm in an electric car and it's overheating. That's not how it works. Also, even in a real car, if you're driving at 102 miles an hour, it is not going to overheat because you're driving at 102 miles an hour. But it doesn't look like they've done this very well. So my vehicle is 150 degrees C, but my water temperature is only at about a third. So that would indicate my water temperature go up to 450 degrees C, which is definitely a non-sensible amount. But yeah, I mean, hopefully the new patch for Scrap Mechanic comes out. I mean, we could obviously start them again, which is probably something we should do. Like, start it again and get better at it, rather than play through from where we are. Like with Dyson Sphere Program, if a patch comes out with the combat stuff, we definitely don't want to carry on from where we are, because we're like, cool, combat, click, well that was easy. Same thing with the raft, like, you know, we got so unbelievably OP in it, because I think we had 14 of us playing the raft at one point.
Wow.
And it does say the maximum recommended players is 4. And I was like, oh, really? But because you can have more, we just don't recommend it.
Mm.
But Visceral Cleanup Detail, again, it's at least 10 more episodes until we've run out of content there. This car has rubbish regen. It's got, apparently we have regen now, but there's no indicator, and it barely loses any speed at all when I take my foot off the accelerator. Oh. I would still love to find a modern shmup that's multiplayer with procedural weapons. I've started it a couple of times. I would really like that. So you get, you know, enormous and massive amounts of enemies on screen that you have to go away and basically like Diablo, but shoot 'em up, like Tyrion or Skyforce or something. But I did have a look. I bought a big shmup pack, and it was quite good because I paid about, I don't know, let's say 10 games for like 10 quid, and I played each of them, and most of them were crap. But you know, I probably got £1 worth out of each one without too much effort. Okay, so I've got my come on, stop. My free pits up. Let's tweak the so final drive stock. So to make the car go faster, the final drive has to be smaller or bigger? I think
Smaller for a higher top speed.
okay, then this should have a higher top speed. Not saying I'm terrible, but that took me quite a long time to work out how to get this electric car into first gear. Oh.
Got squeezy rubber chickens to deliver.
How many? Or how much?
280, I think.
That's quite a lot.
No, 180. 180, sorry. No, hang on. I'll tell you in a minute. Yeah, 280 kilos.
Do you see what I mean though? How about more fun if it was done by volume? So as your vehicle got bigger, you could take more volume, and you might end up taking very heavy stuff or very light stuff.
Yeah.
Because that'd be awesome, because obviously then taking squeezy chickens means it would have barely affect your handling, but taking uranium fuel rods would hopefully really make the car feel different. It's silly. I mean, the game does that. I'm really surprised they didn't do it, because that would have been a great thing to add. Oh, well, I gained the whole 10 miles an hour of top speed.
Hmm.
I can get a bit more by raising the final drive because I'm running out of power.
Wow.
I assume you shouted power, but Chris cut it off and you just went wah.
Wow. Yep. It's actually just Waluigi. Wow.
Wah. Yeah, maybe we could go back to Astroneer. Astroneer was good, but we were progressing towards an automated base, but it was broken. So it was the week after they had added the robot arms, and they didn't work. They just kept breaking. I'd be curious to see if they've actually added anything new to it. Yeah, this game has no regen at all.
You're driving around in circles currently.
Yeah, just at the minute. I'm just chilling.
Practicing.
In my I'm just chilling in my electric car. The problem is you get such a pissy amount of money for delivery. But you do get bonuses, but you do. I mean, I've currently got a €23 bonus, and I think I've earned €360 just driving around in a circle. I'll tell you what, Henry. After this mission, let me know, and we should just compare. So we'll go back to after this mission, go back to the pits. We'll put all our money in the bank, and just do like 5 minutes of quests versus high-speed laps. Because I have a sneaky suspicion I actually make more money this way than the other way, and even if not, it's definitely less effort.
Yeah.
This isn't dangerous at all! How fast are you going?
80?
Really?
Yeah. No, 60.
Okay, because I was doing 113. That's a 60 mile an hour relative speed. But yeah, my car is running at 130 degrees C, 131 degrees C. I have a free pit in 10 seconds. Nope. But I do keep hoping the news will show, some sort of positive, massive change.
What was the Russia stuff?
Yes. Well, anything would be nice, but Russia would be a favourite.
Yeah, we'll see. It's definitely an odd scenario.
Well, there has been some thing. Russia's saying, "Can we stop all these economic sanctions stuff, please? We don't mean we don't mean anyone any harm."
Yeah, it's much more stuff, isn't it?
I did see someone else tweeting. So Russian soldiers have delivered more than 40 tons of humanitarian aid to the Ukrainians. How come we don't hear about that? That's not the side the media want you to hear about. And someone goes, who do they need humanitarian aid from, you fucking thumb?
Mm-hmm.
It's like your bully buying you an ice cream after he beats the shit out of you.
In the face.
Yeah.
After he stole your ice cream money.
Well, he steals your ice cream money and then shares an ice cream with you.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot more challenging going around this way. I have a funny feeling by the temperature is just about driving quickly for a certain distance, rather than anything sensible. The moment I slow down, my car stops heating up. So don't pick up another quest, just hand this one in.
Right, have handed it in.
Okay, and at the top of your screen it says free pit, yeah? Between temperature and
nope.
session. Between temperature
Oh
and
yeah,
session.
free pit. Sorry, yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yes, so hit pit and then just hit OK. Oh! And then top right, click on home. Oh, then come back out again. Should see you. Where are you?
Yeah, to your left.
And then click home menu, bank, deposit, all.
Everything.
Okay. Yep. And if we do like...
Deposited have 0 cash.
Really? That doesn't seem right. You should have had loads of cash.
No, I now have 0 cash.
You have 0 cash, yeah. So now we'll see. I have a sneaky suspicion doing the role-playing quest isn't all that.
So I'm gonna go and try and buy stuff now, then, shall I?
Yeah, you go to normal quests. I'll and we'll see if we can't solve the Russian problem.
Mm.
I think you mean the Putin problem.
Well, as I
The
said,
problem isn't strictly the Russians.
there was a Croatian oil tanker that got sunk. And was it Croatia? I think it was. An oil tanker got sunk, and had an explosion on it, and it was a member of NATO. That so that's all that has to happen is Russia accidentally blow up something or kill someone they shouldn't. A member of NATO shouldn't, rather than a Ukrainian shouldn't.
While I can see that, there's also the even if it's possible NATO sees that happen and goes, I still don't want to fight, because mutually assured destruction is a hell of a deterrent.
Yeah, I mean the solution everyone is hoping for, I guess isn't quite the right word, is an internal uprising. I really can't imagine much else solving it, but with their economy properly collapsing, all the billionaires losing their money, their ships have all been impounded, no trade, no imports, no iPhones, no Android, no computer games, no anything off merit, nothing. What was it? IKEA have shut down, everything is gone. All of the Western stuff that they have gotten used to is gone. So
Well, one of those things where I guess it depends how good their propaganda is as well. Because if they manage to get people to agree with them and go, you know what, fuck everyone else, then rather than fuck the people in charge.
Yeah, but sure,
but...
fuck everyone else, but I still don't get an iPhone. So
yeah,
or IKEA furniture, or Azure products, or computer games. It's I mean, regardless, even if it does strike, I mean, Putin's not around for, I'll say, that much longer. But yeah, my personal feeling is one of the. So I heard someone describe that Putin serves at the pleasure of the Russian oligarchs, and if that starts to change, because they can still pay the army, even if he can't. Whether or not that ends up with somebody much worse in charge, I don't know.
My left or to my right? Oh god.
Is what's you'll have to your right.
Where I need to go to my left. So I'm now 100 meters away from it, but there's 100 meters to my left, 100 meters to my right.
Ah, what are you going for?
The gas station, I think it's to my left.
I think it is to your left, I'm afraid.
Yep. I can get up here, I hope so, yeah. Good. Bing, bing.
I've so far done 4 kilometres since we've started. What's your Odo say? If it's got one.
34.3? I don't know what can
No,
change it.
no. This car's trip meter rather than Odo. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, my trip meter's 4.4. Your car might not have one.
2.5, I've just seen it.
Okay, so I've done about double your distance so far. I mean, really, I shouldn't have been going down this way, but this way's just a bit more interesting.
Hmm.
But you do get bonuses for your average speed over a distance and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, so the Daily Mail have done a very odd hit piece on Tesla. And one of the things they said, Tesla is the, was it the second least reliable EV only brand? Like, how many EV only brands can you name? There's Tesla. There's
What's that new one?
well, there's
It's
Rivian.
got faster.
There's BYD.
No.
There's Polestar. There's Lucid. But I'm like, only-
Lucid, that's what I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
but they're not in this country. So I'm like,
Exactly.
I was trying to work out if they were just saying Teslas are less reliable than Polestars, which is like, all right, but they're still way more reliable than petrol cars. The problem is that there's a whole thing going on. Tesla refused to pay for adverts and Consumer Reports, so Consumer Reports keep doing hatchet jobs on them. But they keep listing about defects. I mean, I've had defects in my car, but a defect can be something like you had to reboot the onboard computer, or there was a patch to fix it. Like, there was an issue with a patch for about 4 hours. When you hit the reversing camera, it only ran at like 1 frame a second. They patched it very quickly, but that would count as a defect. It's like, all right, but not when the defects are my Ferrari catches fire. But they shouldn't count as one defect each.
Oh, that went into my bank account. Something did.
No, it shouldn't go to your bank account. Your cash should just go up.
Yeah, something did though. I was on 2117 and now on 2149
You're on
in my bank account.
In your bank account. You can't see.
Yeah.
You can't see your bank. You can see session and cash. Cash is cash on you. Session is how much you've earned since you started today.
Yeah, I can see bank at the top, to the left of cash.
The letter of cash, mine says. Oh, maybe I've changed it. But what's your cash?
Cash is now got to 159.
Yes, I've definitely earned more cash than you. I don't think there's any way of putting stuff in the bank because I can steal money from you. Oh, well,
I didn't put it in the bank.
yeah.
Something went into the bank. So.
I don't think, because that's kind of the point. You have to go back to the safe zone and then put money in the bank, because otherwise people can steal it from you. So I don't think there's any way of putting anything directly in the bank.
But I'm currently on 2149. I should do some driving around. Let's see what happens with that. Oh, car's gone off.
Yeah. Now I'm currently. Sorry, what did you say you're at? Sorry, 112.
159.
Yeah, so I'm at 300.
Hmm.
Though this is the thing, my car is probably about twice as fast as yours. So
Yeah. Go for a drive. Let's see what that does.
well, the top speed is 60. Probably not much.
That wasn't its top speed. That was how fast I'd got to at that point. Now I'm at 16, I'm in 4th gear now, so I can actually accelerate a bit more, maybe. Oh, 70, 70. Take that, take that.
Brilliant. This car is actually capable of breaking the speed limit. Amazing. But yeah, I'm making about 30 euros a kilometre. So I've done 10 kilometres and earned 330 euros. 11 euros a kilometre. But yeah, I'm probably going to stop at 11, make sure Brett's on the SCN, and then go to bed. I'm feeling a little bit headachy. Partly because I think this is just sort of driving in a lot of left-hand circles.
Yeah. Oh. Come on, don't crash, don't crash. Good.
But
it doesn't normally go over 50, really.
Yeah, driving quickly is the best way to obviously earn my license. So I'd like to try the other game modes, but I'm not. What I might do if my niece and nephew want to play them at the weekend, I'm like, just drive around here and try not to crash into too much. So I've unlocked a lot of Forza by them playing it for me.
Yeah.
So you remember the old days when you had games? You're like, oh no, I'll start you a new save. Now it's like, oh please, oh you've unlocked stuff for me. Brilliant, great. Very happy with that.
I played Demio on a friend's Rift, no, Oculus, whatever it is, thingy, and played one game and then sort of quit out of it. Like, oh, you should have saved that, I haven't done anything about it yet. It's like, oh, alright, okay, sorry. Oops.
Which game, sorry?
Demio, it's the card game, role-playing, D&D type thing.
Oh, right.
VR.
And now to 430 euros.
293.
293.
Yeah.
Do you reckon driving quickly?
298.
Do you reckon driving quickly is getting you more money than deliveries?
Probably.
Yeah, that's.
306 now.
I mean, in theory, as long as you're driving quickly everywhere, deliveries is better. As long as you can stop and quickly do delivery.
I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to drop it off, though. That's a bit of a...
Yeah, it doesn't help on this level. I learned the last level, but this one is a bit bit more tricksy.
It's also, you got that crossover bit that means, oh yeah, it's nearby. No, it's not. It's 100 miles, 100 kilometers away.
450 euros with a 14 euro bonus accumulating. I don't know when that's added. I think it might be every 10 minutes or something. Like for every 100 meters you've driven, you get €1 every 10 minutes or some such.
Yeah.
Oh, 120 mile an hour drift was not a sensible plan. I nearly held it though.
450 currently.
450. Wow, I'm at 492. So you're definitely. Are you deliveries or driving around?
No, driving around right now.
Yeah, I reckon you're earning more driving around than deliveries. Have you got your intake restriction on?
Yep.
Ah, I see. I haven't.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. So if I go to my it's marked dollar.
Can you put it on the electric car?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And
Well, they can limit the power, but
yeah, well,
what is it?
it just limits the power. So I'm at 50% restriction. I might need to tune my final. That's what I did before. You see, is I put 50% restriction on, and then I just changed my final drive ratio. So it wasn't really affecting me. My top speed was technically affected, but in practice, wasn't, because I'm on a city street.
Mm-hmm.
I need to increase my drive ratio. 520, you're overtaking me now. But yeah, I didn't cross my mind about the experience scaler. Okay, my car's at top speed about 160 now, but I can't go to the pits for free, so I may be stuck with this for a little while. Now I'm 87 miles an hour, 88 miles an hour.
Are you traveling back in time?
Still going 88 miles an hour, so no. Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually pit in because of my free pit timer's not there. Fine drive ratio. Let's try 2.5-ish. Oh God!
So Adam, you know how I was talking about deepfakes the other night?
Yes.
There's been two really good ones made.
Of
Putin and the Ukrainian president. I don't remember his name.
oh well,
Navalny.
there was
You know
one.
Navalny, that's the other one.
There was one thing I was going to mention. So deep faked faces is they're all right. Deep fake voices are really good now because you just chuck it like every Arnold Schwarzenegger film, and it can then pull out that it can recreate stuff from that. They're really, really, really very good.
Well, I think the thing that usually falls apart is like it's usually like the lip movements. Whenever you're watching a show that has it, I think the Star Wars stuff was a good example of where it can look a little bit off.
Yes.
But it's pretty damn close.
Yeah, Disney's. Bear in mind, I don't personally believe if Disney can't manage it, I don't think Russia can either. Bear in mind, Disney have been doing this for a long time because there's lots of money once you can get proper deep fakes going. Yeah, the new Luke stuff was very good, but wasn't quite there. Like some of the shots were fooling me, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the thing was with that one, so apparently they brought on someone
Yes.
from YouTube or something.
Yeah, he does kind of look like the actor that he does kind of look like Luke, as well.
Yeah, that helps.
Mm. You seen the Corridor Crew's assessment of it?
No, YouTube keeps hasn't recommended me. I keep getting occasional recommendations. I think it's just VFX artists react to good and bad CGI. And because I haven't watched that one, YouTube won't recommend anything else.
I think that is my most popular series, at least recently. To be fair, they're usually not that bad, the VFX reaction then. Because they get quite a lot of detail.
It's not that. It's just because I haven't watched it, Google's like, well, you don't get any more videos then. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, final drive ratio of 2. Ooh. I'll try 1.5, 2.5, and now 2. the biggest speed I can. So what about your cash now, Mr. H?
7:06.
Okay, I'm still ahead of you, but I have done several pit stops.
I'm about to switch to my other car. If I can. Safe zone. There we go.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling a little bit out of sorts. Probably because you say this is just a long straight. The long straights, there's motion platform doing things. I'm sitting there with motion happening and no feeling.
Yeah.
And because it's bank corners, there's barely any movement. And unless I put the car into a drift and then it drifts.
Mm.
Yeah, 95 miles an hour top speed with this. Just 96. Oh, I'll get my next bonus and then I shall stop. It's 47 euros currently. But I have made like $4,000 this evening. I'd still quite enjoy this. I think the other map was better. Oh, there you go. So I did 10 kilometers in 5.5 minutes and earned a bonus of something. No, I am going to stop now because I'm feeling a little bit sick. But yeah, still, I do quite enjoy those. I would like to see the mod improved. And as I said, the all of the trucks and things only got added very recently because obviously they needed the mod in order to do it. I won't be around tomorrow night, but I should be around Sunday for Wreckfest, so hopefully lots of people then.